Hey guys, welcome to Body, Mind, Energy Weekly. So this week's theme is titled Notice What Feels Good. So as human beings, we naturally have a negative bias, which means that we are going to notice what doesn't feel good. And that's, to help us, right? If we eat something that's maybe not good for our particular body, it's going to tell us. Or if we do something that is a little too aggressive in our physical body, we need to be able to feel it. So it helps us. It helps us protect the physical body and, our limitations, like we can't step in front of a car and expect that nothing is going to happen. But where that doesn't help us is when we use it all the time and when we're always noticing what doesn't feel good, especially, for example, if you're trying to work with chronic pain. And if in chronic pain you are actively trying to work with it and bring it back to balance, if you're always noticing what doesn't feel good, then you're never going to notice the progression. And this is really important because your body and your mind must start to work together. If you're, surpassing and you're having really good progression, which usually is felt very, very subtly in small increments, but you're not able to be, aware of that, then your mindset is going to keep you in that place where you think the pain is exactly the way it was the first day you had it, which is not true, especially if you're doing something and probably many things to help that progression along. So then it becomes this practice, just like noticing what doesn't feel good can be your daily practice, and you maybe not even conscious that you're doing that. You can start to consciously notice what feels good. And that's really endless, You can notice how good it feels to breathe. You can notice how good it feels to have the clothes on your back. You can notice how good it feels to, be in your house with all of these luxurious things like a bed and a roof and, food in your fridge. You can notice how good it feels pretty much anything. And it's not to ignore or override or pretend that you don't have pain. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just that it creates a balance, especially if the first thing in your mind is to notice what doesn't feel good. So I have like a couple of clients, I'll ask them how they are doing, and the first thing they'll tell me is all of their problems and what hurts and how disappointed they are. And of course, when we bring awareness to that, we start to get, aware in our mind what we're doing in our mind, and it slowly starts to shift. But if we never bring that awareness and we never recognize that we're practicing feeling bad, and only feeling bad and not noticing the small little progressions, then it's very difficult, even after, let's say, you've healed a chronic pain, not to get out of that pattern. Right? So if you're always in the fix-it mode, always looking for the problem, always in problem detection mode, you might start to get stuck there because the mind works based on memory. And if that memory is implanted and it also works on automatic, that's sort of going to be your automatic. So you don't want to necessarily live this life where you're constantly in this fixer-upper mode. And especially when you're in chronic pain, it's the pain is going to be louder than what feels good. So the practice is to increase the volume, the very small volume of what feels good. And then you continue to increase that, and you continue to increase that, and then you continue to increase that. And you will notice that eventually that's going to be the more dominant, and that's what's going to be more practice. And, I can say this from experience. I can tell you that in my life I've experienced chronic anxiety, which manifested in a very uncomfortable physical manifestation. So I was literally covered in eczema, which is not the nicest thing to kind of imagine, but that's what happened for me. And was extremely uncomfortable and created a lot of anxiety because I was pretty much uncomfortable 24/7. I couldn't even touch anything, and everything was uncomfortable, and it was extremely itchy all the time, 24/7. And so I had to, one, not just notice what feels good, but two, and this is a whole other conversation, is to learn how to actually feel what you're feeling. So that's another level, is like being able to experience your good and your bad, your pleasure and your pain. So that's for another conversation, but just to give you something now in case you are experiencing something chronic, or in case you are noticing, even just on a mental, emotional level, that you're simply focusing on what is not going well, what is right, what is wrong, that very kind of left brain kind of thinking, it's sort of going to bite you in the bum over time. So you want to start to just watch that and be surprised on how in a moment it can change if you allow yourself to stay in the progression of your healing, or whatever you want to call it. And that's it. So if you have any questions about this or anything else, my name is Jayme Hernandez, and I offer transformational coaching via video. We can start there, and also 200-hour kosher yoga therapy coaching, yoga therapy training. So if you want to become a yoga teacher, or you simply want to move through the journey of your physical body, mind, and energy, I also offer that too. But if you have any questions, just simply reach out to me, and that's it. So that's it for this week. Notice what feels good, and you'll feel good too. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. See you next week.